There were two wars back in my world. Rose looked up from the flickering campfire, the logs showing no sign of char despite the many nights they had been used to warm camp, burnt in a multicolored blaze, motes of light drifting lazily through the flames. Only two? It sounds peaceful there. Jared shook his head slightly. Two big ones. This war of yours spans a continent. These ones swept up my entire world. A world without magic, though, right? I'm sure they were terrible, but compared to the Demon King... She trailed off, leaving the implication to hang in the air. Don't get caught up in a competition of misery. You'll only win because mine was long before I was born. Jared shifted uncomfortably, the knotted log he was leaning against digging into his back. There are plenty of ways to commit atrocities, even without magic. For example, a weapon called mustard gas was outlawed by international agreement after its use in the first of those two wars. If it touched your skin, you'd blister. If you breathed it in, you'd drown on dry land, choking on your own blood. Rose, too, shifted uncomfortably, ropes that bound her chafing against her wrists. Sounds like a miasma spell. Pretty similar. But imagine. No purification, no healing spells, and every battalion able to fire it right into the center of enemy forces from a distance. Or drop it onto them from above in flying machines without any ward magic to stop them. A bird, large as a lion, flew across the inky sky above as if to illustrate the point. Rose shivered. I can't even imagine. And that's just what they did to soldiers. The Nazis, the closest thing to the Demon Kingdom, killed over 6 million because of their race. Some, their own citizens. A cursed race? No curses. Not in my world. Her voice was small. An evil race? That's what the propaganda said. How else do you convince a country to throw millions into camps where you work until you're forced into a chamber and had it flooded with mustard... miasma? Something scuttled across the branch of a tree, hooting as it went. Neither of the people around the campfire spared it a glance. Jared too caught up in his reverie, and Rose too used to the possum-sized feathered insects of her world. Is that why it was outlawed? Her question prompted a sardonic, barking laugh. No, no. It was outlawed after the First War. The Nazis were part of the second one. At first, the executions were done by forcing people to dig their own graves, line up in front, and be shot into them. But it was, apparently, a waste of bullets, ammunition. The fire crackled studiously, suddenly forced to fill a long, uncomfortable silence alone. The constellations above were painfully foreign to Jared, as were the two moons the stars framed. The mythology of this world said that they were the eyes of two goddesses who had been locked in combat in ages past, their battle ending when they had each torn the eye from the other's face and hurled it into the heavens. Jared had met the pair while he was being summoned to this world. They were a sweet couple. Rose finally broke the silence. They lost, right? The Nazis? Yes. Yeah. The leader of the whole thing swallowed cyanide, a poison, blew his head off as the capital was being taken. Well, that's comforting. To know that the good guys can win, even without fate or magic. To Rose, the silence that followed was far more comfortable. To Jared, it was heavy and rough, the parallel he could not help but notice scratching at the door to his thoughts. Finally, with a sigh, he began talking once more. There were these two cities. Hiroshima, the first one was called. The country the Nazis were from had already been dealt with, but Hiroshima was in a different country, one of their allies, like the dragons after the demons. They were being pushed back as well. It was only a matter of time until they surrendered. But, according to one country, it wasn't going to happen fast enough. Rose, eyes guarded, stared at the summoned hero. What did they do? Dropped a bomb. Just one? Just one. One bomb that wiped a city off the map and killed 100,000 people. Rose had seen warriors that would take an army to defeat, castles laid low by a single demon, but a city of 100,000 to be gone in a single attack? That's... I can't even imagine the sort of power that will be needed to... I can. With all the power I got from the summoning, I think I could do it. I'm sure this Demon King of yours could as well, but this was a single bomb. One that anyone could use if they had access. The entire thing was a little larger than the average man. The actual explosive would displace a little over 3 liters if you were dumb enough to lower it into a pool. An attack that can level a city made not because a once-in-a-millennia archmage dedicated their entire life to explosion magic, but because someone found a way to turn matter into pure energy. Power always oozed from Jared. He hadn't had it long enough to learn how to keep it contained. It sank unbidden into the fire, intensifying its light as Jared tried to picture something he had only ever been told. Rose's binds started to itch. The hero had said he was kidnapping her from the castle for the good of the world. What had he truly meant by that? I wonder about the man who dropped the bomb sometimes. Did he know what it did? Had he seen the tests, or was he left to imagine the blast? Did he fool himself into thinking it would be little more than the bombs that had been dropped onto cities in years before? Did he see the bomb drop? The people reduced to soot stains on the walls, or did he simply hear in the days after the magnitude of his action? Did he comfort himself by thinking that he was just a cog in the machine, a machine that would have dropped that bomb irregardless of him being the one to do so? Was he asked, 3 days later, to get back in his airship, and drop another bomb onto the bustling city of Nagasaki? Or was that job left to someone else? Rose, second princess of the human kingdom of Fernell, felt far colder than the campfire could stave off. She had been raised to summon a hero, someone powerful enough to push back the demon forces. She was, after all, the first royal since the last age to be born with the ability to do so. Only a royal could summon a hero, and only a hero could rid the world of the demon scourge. Maybe the people who invented the thing felt more responsible. The lead scientist, artificer, a man called Oppenheimer, is meant to have referenced a line said by a destroyer god of a religion he wasn't part of when he saw the first successful test. "I am become death, destroyer of worlds," the quote went. 17 gods ruled the world, and had sworn to never again descend to it directly, lest their influence tear it asunder. 16 remained true to their oath. The 17th donned a crown and declared himself the savior of demonkind. The remaining gods, by majority vote, let the bloodline of summoners flourish, and ensured a person would be born who could pull someone to her world from another, while passing the summoned through the realm of the gods. The summoned would be bestowed with the power to fell the traitor god, while the shackles of their mortality would save the world from the damage another deity's presence would have brought. Does he blame me? Rose wondered. For bringing him to this world? And for thrusting the power to destroy it into his hands? For making him the pilot of the airship? Is that why he took me from the castle when he escaped? I don't think I'll ever know how he really felt. Not unless I find my way back home. But I think I might be able to find out how it feels to do something similar. to reach into the cosmos and use magic to set a genocide in motion, to be both Oppenheimer making the weapon and the man who dropped it onto a city. Jared's eyes, having spent the last few minutes looking emptily into the flames, flicked to Rose, filling with a sharp focus. So tell me, Princess, how does it feel to be the man who dropped the bomb?